In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a homemade cheese sauce, a nacho cheese sauce, and also a mac and cheese sauce. So we have two parts to our ingredients. The first part is the base that you're going to use on any cheese sauce. The second part is going to be the two different types of cheese that I use. One is for nachos and one is going to be for your mac and cheese. For your basic base, you're always going to have flour, butter, and milk. I'm going to add some cream this time because I want to add some richness. Also, it's going to help stabilize the milk so it makes it harder to break when I'm making it. But for the nacho cheese, I have pepper jack cheese and I have jalapenos. For our mac and cheese, I'm just using a straight cheddar. Purchase your cheese, make sure you purchase it by the block and you shred it yourself. The pre-shredded stuff has some non-sticking agents added to the bag, so your finished product will be a lot better if you shred it yourself. For our first step, we're going to make a roux. A roux is butter and flour equal parts, and a roux is what's used to thicken sauces. So we're gonna melt this butter down and we're gonna slowly add our flour in and we're gonna whisk until we get a wet sand consistency. Our butter's totally melted. Now we're gonna slowly add our flour in. Just go a little bit at a time. We're only gonna cook this for about 3 minutes. We want a blonde roux. So it's gonna be more of a blonde color. It's not gonna have much color to it because I wanna keep my sauce as light as possible and let the cheese naturally color the sauce at the end. So that's perfect right there. Keep whisking, you don't want it to burn. It will try to stick to the bottom. I'm gonna cut my heat off just for a second. Now it's key that we slowly add the milk in. If you add it all at once really fast, what's gonna happen is it's gonna clump up on you, the flour. So you wanna just let this slowly incorporate all the temperatures. Add a little bit more. Now, I'm gonna scrape the edges very well because at first the flour is gonna try to stick. So it's key to make sure that you scrape the edges and you really keep mixing and mixing and mixing. Notice there's no clumps in here, that's awesome. I'm gonna turn my heat back on. We're gonna bring this up to a really, really light simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and add my cream now. There's two very important keys that you need to pay attention to here. One, when it first starts off, you need to make sure that you're scraping the edges with your whisk and scraping the bottom for the first 5 minutes, maybe up to 10 because that flour tries to settle and stick. Two, do not boil this. The milk will separate, you will be left with cheese at the end product. So what you want to do is you want to bring it up to a low simmer. We're going to cook this for about 30 to 40 minutes. You're going to taste it. When you don't taste the floury flavor anymore, then that's when it's ready to add the cheese. But do not boil it, cook it very, very, very slow and low. Another thing, if you notice that the flour gets real thick right at the beginning, go ahead, you can add a little tiny bit of water to thin it back out slightly because as it cooks, it's gonna get thicker and thicker, but you don't wanna start off real thick because we got about 30 to 40 minutes to cook this. So if it's too thick at the beginning, it could burn. You need to add a little bit of water to thin it back out. So we're gonna add a few pinches of salt. Don't add too much salt. We just wanna bring out a little bit of the flavor here, but we're also gonna add cheese, and cheese is gonna add some saltiness. I'm assuming most of you don't have white pepper, so at this point I will use regular pepper. We want some kind of pepper flavor in there, so it doesn't matter, it will just show little specks. The white pepper won't show specks, obviously. We'll give that a little mix and we'll continue cooking this. Here's what we have after about 30 minutes of cooking, a beautiful bechamel sauce. So this is the base to any cheese sauce. I can add any cheese or any pepper that I want to this at this point. And we already went over which cheeses we're gonna add, but this is the basic way to get you to a homemade cheese sauce. For the first one, we're gonna do the nacho, pepper jack cheese, the jalapenos. We're gonna just let that mix down and let those jalapenos slowly steep. I still got this on really low temp. Now at this point, give it a taste. Make sure it tastes good. If you need to add some salt, some pepper, go ahead, add that now. And I'm checking right now my consistency, and as I lift, this is more like a dip or a sauce, so I need to add more cheese. So that's the consistency we want, where when you pull it away, it's still pretty sticky, because as this cools, it's gonna get thicker too. All right, now for our mac and cheese sauce, add our cheddar, just like with the nacho. We're gonna mix that up. We're gonna get the seasoning and the right consistency. Once this cheese is fully melted, we have the right seasoning and consistency, it's done. And that is all it takes to make a homemade cheese sauce. No more having to buy it from the can. If you like this video, check out my channel. I do recipes. I also have plenty more how-to videos just like this.